If you're watching right now and don't know how to structure your training, or you're having problems with it, you don't know how to maximize results or potential for full recovery in between sessions, all of those things, that's what I'm going to talk about right now. And if that's the case for you, this car talk is going to be for you. Otherwise, you can jump straight to the session, but I do think this is going to be really valuable. So let's start off with how to structure your session, and this is for the individual workouts. Number one, what we want to have in mind is what is our long-term goal, and maybe what's our not necessarily short-term but shorter-term goal that you want to reach, and that is going to define what to prioritize during your sessions. If we're thinking in terms of statics, we can have a static goal, and then most of the time there's always going to be some sort of progression towards this static skill. And if that is the case, we want to start most of our workouts with a solid warm-up, preferably including the muscles that the skill involves, and also some heart racing stuff, but nothing too complicated there. But then pretty early on, we want to do our progressions or train with resistance band. We want to be in the position early on. And the reason we want to have the progression and the simulating skills in the beginning is because that's when we're the most fresh and when we want to put our most energy, because it's actually simulating our end goal the most. So peak performance there. And then when that's done, we can then do some isolating work, and that includes working on the muscles involved in that skill, but maybe more specifically. So let's say you're training planche and one of your weaknesses is your straight arm strength. Then you can train straight arm strength exercises after you've done your progressions and holds. Or maybe it's the core, or maybe it's the protraction, you can train that specifically. The same applies if you're doing street lifting or weighted stuff as well. You're starting off with the main event of that session, which is if you're doing dips, if you're doing the pull-ups, you start off there, and then afterwards you can work on your weaknesses. But the main focus during your workouts when you're the most fresh should be on the things that are closest related to your goals. And then the isolating work. So that is a pretty all-rounded split. And then you come to the sort of point where, okay, which exercises should I choose for your workouts? And at that point, start off by first asking friends around you or people around you if someone has something to recommend. You give that a try. If it doesn't work, you switch it out. And when I say it doesn't work, it means you give an exercise an attempt, and this is for at least 2 or 3 weeks, and then you make a sort of conclusion. Did I feel progress? Did I enjoy it? Was it suitable for me? If not, you switch it up. And all of these things is you give it a try, and then you make a sort of adjustment if needed, and you do a conclusion on it. Is it for me or not? If not, switch it up. And to be honest, when it comes to all different variations, it doesn't matter if it's skill training, freestyle, if it's street lifting, there's always going to be things that works for a lot of people, but to some degree it's always going to be at a individual level. So you gotta do some experimenting to some degree to find which things are mostly suitable for you, and that includes what you enjoy the most, what you feel most progress from, and those things. And then it might take some time before you get this perfect schedule, but trust me, in the long term it's really worth it to get a solid schedule that you know is working really well, because at that point it's easier for you as well to be more committed to it, because you know, okay, this is working really well, so if I do actually stay consistent now for a few months, I will see a lot of results. So that's on the sort of individual level when it comes to the session. And then when you train throughout the weeks, more of a general base style, you don't need that much volume as you may think. You don't need to train 6-7 times per week. If you get in 4 workouts, for example, you hit every skill 2 times per week. So 2 workouts per week where you train maybe front lever, 2 times where you train planche, maybe 2 times you train dips, 2 times you train for the pull-ups. You can do sort of a push and pull split. You can add some legs there as well. But what I really want you to understand is you don't need to train insane volumes. Me personally, I train about 4, maximum 5 exercises per workout. And that's pretty low. I train about 3 sets on all of them, and that has given me tons of results. And that's something I do get a lot of sort of reactions about. And I'm really glad I do film them film all my workouts so I can show people this is literally exactly what I'm doing and this is the outcome that I've been getting. And most of the time it would work for a lot of people as well, so definitely something to try out. But what I want you to understand is you don't need crazy amount of volume to get the results. You need some activations, you definitely need that. You need some volume, but you don't need to do 10 exercises per workout in order to get results. You need some of them that are really specific towards your goals. You work on your weaknesses and then you can go home. Make sure you get your recovery and then get back to it. And I would say train about 2 skills per week. That's a sort of good estimate. If they're closely related, you can in theory train slightly more. And that goes in hand. For example, if you train front lever as one skill and then you train planche, I would say that the back lever, it's really closely, like when you train planche and front lever, the back lever is almost going to be a side effect. But if that's the case and the back lever still is a goal for you, then you can just add some back lever training activations, some negatives, maybe some holds, progressions for it at the end of, for example, a planche workout. It might not be your main goal, but you can still incorporate it to some degree and you are going to see results. So if things are closely related, most of the time you can add some smaller stuff. But in general, have an estimate of having like 2 main goals to work towards, preferably 1 push, 1 pull, easier to do the split. And then for street lifting, of course, or weighted stuff, you're more into split. You of course need to train everything if you want to be complete, but then you can do that split throughout the week. And some people I talk to as well, they don't necessarily train like the weighted dips. You don't always need to train like 2 times per week. If you have 1 solid sessions, you have good rest in between, you make sure that the workout today is not going to affect my workout tomorrow that much. So for example, if I train upper body and I do weighted squats and stuff tomorrow, that is necessarily not going to affect it too much. But if I do 1 skill today and then tomorrow I have something involving a lot of those muscles, I will feel more sore. And if you have that in mind, you can train actually 1 skill. If you do it once per week but go pretty damn close to failure, and then you have good recovery and everything, that is going to give you so much as well. And I think that's a sort of broader view on it for the weekly part. And then when it comes to deload and those things, that is really important to have. Deload weeks are meant for you to get fully recovered, and it's basically where you reduce the intensity of your training for 1 week. So basically giving your body time to recover. And what's really great about this is that you can have them pretty high intensity during your weeks. You can go to failure in a lot of stuff you're doing. You can start to feel pretty fatigued after a few weeks. And the beauty of this is that then you can take your deload after maybe 4 to 5 weeks. This is all something you gotta try out and see sort of, okay, after how long am I starting to really feel it in the body? And then you will have your deload week that allows you to recover and then just push it the week after again and get back onto it. So sort of a good way to just guarantee that you can push yourself pretty hard, but then always have something to fall back on for the recovery purposes or side of things. I think that sort of puts a pretty broad perspective on it. And a tip for literally anyone, especially if you're young. And when I say young, I mean like you are younger than 20 years old and you're starting to get into really training, fitness, all of those things. What really changed it for me when it came to mindset was to accept that it's gonna take time. And when I started to really accept that, I really started to see the beauty in training. I didn't see it as something I wanted to achieve and then just feel complete or satisfied with it. I more saw it like a literally part of my life that it's always gonna be there. Which it is at the moment. I just love going to the gym, love the training, love the hustling, always having something more to strive for. So now I don't really categorize it as this is something I want to reach and then pretty much I'm done. I more really just see it as a part of my lifestyle. I get really sort of a healthy lifestyle from it. I get my physique, I get my mental stability, like always having this constant dopamine throughout the weeks, always having things to look forward to, pushing my body and mentality to some degree really hard all the time. Also just can transfer so much to my other things I'm doing in my life. And that really changed it. do not see it as one thing, but just incorporate it in your life in the most smooth way so you really enjoy it. And at that point you're just enjoying the ride. Like, you are getting progress, always just feeling such a deep connection to it. And then of course, the more and the longer you train, the better you're gonna sort of understand your body as well, which exercises work for you, which things maybe doesn't work too good. And every time you're learning something new about your body that you can then incorporate in your training and sort of guarantee that you're always progressing more and more. And that is the beauty of it. So I think that is pretty much gonna wrap it for the car talk. I am now by the gym, and the plan is gonna be to do a front lever session. So that involves me doing top holds, because that is closely related to my sort of goal, which is to get better at the top hold. It's been a weakness for a long time. I'm doing front lever pull-ups to front lever hold. The pull-up, something I really want to have secure in competition, especially for mid combos. I don't just want to do it in the beginning, but actually be strong enough to get a solid full range of motion at sort of mid combo. Then I'm doing the isolating work. I'm doing weighted pull-ups because I really enjoy it as well. I am gonna do lower back training, just preventing for sort of the injury purposes, since that's where my latest injury was. And then I might also add some just dragon flag holds and stuff for the sort of core part, because that is something I haven't targeted in a long time. So I do think that is starting to become one of my weaknesses, since I've put so much effort on the sort of pulling, the lats activation, the scapula, those parts, but the core has sort of just followed along. So I might do that as well if I have time for it. But like you see, not something too crazy. Might be 5 exercises. Most of the time it's only 4. And that's worked really well for me, and definitely something you can try out. But for now, I'll see you guys inside the gym. Warm up is done, and it's time for the first drill, which is gonna be the front lever top hold, or front lever touch. And previous session has been pretty good, so I am hoping for a few seconds, to be honest. And also got the chalk now. I did forget it once, and ever since I just always double check the bag to see it's with me, because some things just really sucks when you have bad grip. And if that's the cause of you getting a bad workout, it's pretty bad, because it's a easy thing to fix. Let's give it a try, see where my energy level is at. Not too bad, not too bad. I think the form felt pretty good. I did drop a few centimeters towards the end, but that's what I always do. But hopefully a few seconds where the touch was clean and the form was really good. So let's have a look, and then of course do another set. Everything looks solid, except for the fact that it was pretty short hold. So that's what we're gonna fix for the second set. To be honest, don't think it was that much better when it came to the seconds of holds, but form should be pretty alright, and still a few seconds, which is decent. Maybe not what I would like it to be, but still good enough. Definitely not 100% power. And to be honest, my previous workout, the push one I did, that was just insane. Like, I have never seen so much progress ever, which also ultimately means that I use all my energy, push it really, really hard. So a lot of times, if you have a good workout, next one might be slightly worse. But then the sort of reverse is also the same. So if you have sort of a shitty workout, you don't push the body that hard, then the next one usually turns out to be a bit better. And if you have that in mind, it doesn't really matter if you have a good or bad one. You just know that sort of average of all your sessions. If that one goes up, that's the main thing. Let's move on. Front lever pull-ups, 3 reps, and then a solid hold. That's gonna be the goal for the next exercise. definitely feel it. I also feel extra sore in my bicep, to be honest, in this part. So might have been from the Maltese, just pushing it a bit too hard. But yeah, we're gonna go for this one. And if I do feel any like sort of pain in a bad way, I'll probably just skip it or change it up. This one works pretty fine, just the fact that I feel a bit sort of tired when I'm doing it. Either way, let's do 2 more sets. Weak. 1 more to go. Now we're moving on to pull-ups. Hopefully, unless the arm feels a bit worse, but I hope it doesn't. If it is, I might also just take even wider grip, target more back, but should be pretty fine. Something pretty consistent throughout the sets, even though none of them were like peak performance in sort of overall, but it's what it is. Still pushing through it. So let's move on. Weighted pull-ups. Probably gonna start off with 50 kg and sort of normal grip that I usually have, which is usually slightly wider, to be honest. Targets a bit more back, and it's just where I feel the strongest. But starting off there, if I do feel any pain, adjust it for the second one or change the weight. Let's move on. Literally feels like reduced or reduction of 20% or something. Super bad, super bad. But we have those days as well, and to be honest, didn't feel any pain, nothing, just, you know, completely drained, and that's fine. That's literally what I do. Have these sessions from time to time, and since the last one was just really freaking good, the chance of this win being slightly worse is high. And it turned out to be slightly worse. I just don't like saying it should be either good or bad before the session, because then the outcome is usually what I say it is. And if it's bad, and if I say it's gonna be a good one, it usually turns out to be bad as well. So I think the most natural way for me is just to keep quiet about my energy level before workouts, and then try my best. But let's do 2 more sets. I think I will stick with 50 kg, to be honest, and just aim for 7 reps. Might be able to do 8 if I push it, and yeah, we'll see. But sticking with the weight, because no pain or nothing like that. So that's at least a success. Seven and a half. I would say that's improvement from the previous set. Also slightly more explosive. Try to get just small false grip on the reps as well. Makes it a bit easier. And then increase the sort of reps per second or reps per minute. So the speed that I'm doing it, and just makes it easier for the grip strength and everything if I do it faster. But let's do 1 more. Maybe being able to do 8 in best case, otherwise 7. Still pretty satisfying for this type of session. I don't know, more like 7.8 for that one, so still improvement. Not 8 solid reps, but something. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty happy considering the sort of level of energy I've been showing throughout the previous or the beginning of the session. And to wrap it up, I am gonna end it with some dragon flags. This is definitely an exercise I did back in the days a lot for just the core connection of the front lever. And then when I did learn the front lever, I sort of stopped doing it, didn't do it for some time. But to be honest, I did try it a few sessions back and it's still really heavy. And it's one of those exercises that you just really can't do too much of, to be honest. You can always add ankle weights, just get even stronger. And if this core part, it's simulating the front lever a lot, especially when I'm pretty parallel to the floor as well. And it's just really helpful. So definitely one of the best for targeting the core in a really specific way that will help towards the front lever. So that's what I'm gonna do right now, just strengthening this part. And it feels good at the end of the day as well to just wrap it up with some core. It really feels like you've been training. Even though that's not always the case, that you feel tired doesn't mean you do something crazy good, but it's a nice feeling. So that's why I like to wrap it up with reps and some core now at the end. It kills you. Holy crap. But that's pretty much it. I do reps and then I max out. It drains the body like crazy. So 3 sets here, it's harsh. I am gonna get by 3 minutes in between just to push it, but still gonna be pretty sore on the last one. However, I will not film those ones because it literally just looks the same. But this is definitely something I will start doing now in the end of front lever sessions. All right, and that is gonna be pretty much a wrap. Not the craziest workout in my opinion. I have done better, but I've also done worse, to be honest. So pretty satisfied with the outcome considering the energy level, but then again, I was hoping for slightly better. But it is what it is. Now it's literally just the consistency that matters, and I am always pretty much showing up, so that is the main thing. I also know I haven't done any flexing in like, I don't know, 2 months or something when it comes to physique, because this gym doesn't really have that good places. But today I am gonna do just some light flexing so you do actually follow along on the physique side as well. Because lately I've been eating really good since I live alone right now. Just food is on point, sleep is pretty much on point as well, and the training, that one you already know, that one you follow everything. So let's give it a try. Double biceps, some side action, maybe some back as well, and we'll see how it looks. The light is also from the above, so that is a big bonus. Something. Then the tricep action. This one is literally like all the dips. Gives you a lot, and then if you're towards the shredded side, literally everything just looks mad. The back. Would probably be a bit better without the shirt, but I'm not gonna take it off here. Do you usually do one more? The overhand flex could be something as well. Also a bit crazy without shirt, but that should give you an estimate of where I'm at. Then we're definitely gonna do one session or one vlog with just pump, like literally grinding in the gym, exercises, getting most insane pump ever, and then doing a flexing session as well with some good lighting. It's literally gonna be just this physique video, which is not usually what I work towards, but something that could be really interesting to see as well. So that is gonna be something in the future. But with that being said, hit like, subscribe, and I will see you guys for the next video. Choo-choo!